Let's talk about Citogenesis.
The incarnation of destruction.
So when I say Citogenesis, what do I mean? If you look it up, depending on if you use a Y or an I, you get two very different things. With a Y, you basically get the formation of new cells. When you use an I, basically you get a chain of citation. Basically, it's combining citation and genesis. Why do I state this? Well, in this modern Internet of Stuff and Things, it essentially means we're playing telephone, except with web pages and citation. So, for example, hop on to anywhere, the Twitters, the Facebooks, anywhere like that, and you'll see folks citing things that, especially when it comes to politics, basically things usually with titles that are supporting their points. The number of people that actually read through the whole article, as I learned from a gentleman at the New York Times that was actually studying this when I was down at the Harvard Club a couple of years ago with my old man and brother, yeah, the majority of people don't actually read the whole way through. They usually see the title. Some folks will click on it. Some folks will read a blurb or so, but it seems like most folks don't actually read the article. That tends to be a problem because I, again, am completely guilty of this as well, but you go through and the article often ends up being fairly moderate and typically has facts in it. If you just have a salacious headline, the salacious headline at somewhere in the article, it may be true, but is it an accurate description of the whole article? Often not. So why do I say this? Well, if y'all remember back, at least for me, back in like the 6th grade when we played telephone, it's like Miss So-and-so has blue socks. It usually ends up with something like a pterodactyl crossed the road to eat a piglet. It often has nothing to do with one another. But what ends up happening? Somebody restates something slightly differently, often with some bias, because I mean, we're all biased. We all have our own inclinations for different things and everything. So here's the thing. You end up having people citing things, and then they restate in their own words. Okay, that's fine. But very often we don't actually have the citation, so then you'll have other outlets citing other things in the past restating it. So when you had the initial report, it could end up being something very different. This is why a lot of folks say that we're in an infodemic, and there's a lot of fake news out there. My big thing is, if somebody's got an opinion, that's perfectly fine. You state your opinion. But when folks come forth with their opinion and state it as fact, that kind of seems to be a problem at times. And that would explain a lot, because if you're trying to have a discussion with somebody, even somebody that you're friends with, about something that y'all both are very passionate about, if you believe one thing and you're having a conversation based upon what you have in your head, and they're having a conversation based upon something else that they have in their head, both from sources that they know and trust, and you're not coming to accord, well, either that sounds more like an argument of faith in the respect to religion or religious-like things that people are now treating as religion in some ways, because, well, it seems like we've had the rise of secularism, and that gap of having something that people truly believe and are passionate about is being filled in by non-religious things, and then we treat them as religious. It's, yes, it is the Ouroboros. But this is why I'm like, okay, well, with this and other stuff and things, don't we have like timestamps and dates when things are published, and can't we source things back? But then again, having a well thought out study article or something like that, it ends up being pretty dry. It's kind of like, I remember when I was learning about osmosis back in biology, that's when I kind of started to fall behind in science a bit, because, well, for me, I found osmosis kind of dry. I mean, yes, pun completely intended there. But as far as everything goes, it's like, okay, if you disagree with somebody, well, we all know that a couple hundred characters are more than enough to have a passionate, engaging argument about something. Well, why don't Why don't we use some of these features rather than screaming at each other? It's like, wait, doesn't Facebook have like, I don't know, a free voice over IP calling system? Just give someone a call, just have a quick chat. Oh, but they disagree with you, so we don't want that. Yeah, didn't we have that whole meme of you should eat your broccoli even if you don't like it because it's good for you? All I'm saying is, as far as cytogenesis goes, it's okay. That's fine. Look at the sources. Let's track them back. Maybe the person that voted for somebody that we don't agree with, maybe they're not evil. Maybe they're just getting information from a different spot. Because to just straight up label someone as evil, that sounds like a very lazy argument. Well, because if they're evil, we don't need to listen to anything that they have to say. Ha. Yeah, it's very disingenuous. I mean, if you want to be lazy, I mean, hey, power to you. I'm one of the laziest people in the world. I spent like the past 4 years of my life jacking myself off into impotence. So, but then I changed. So that's all I'm saying. We can do better. We must do better. We will do better. That's my opinion. So, thank you all for watching. Peace out, everybody, and long live the elbow bump.